Every day, work, school, sitting on the toilet, doom scrolling on TikTok. You're busy, you're tired, and you just want that little dopamine hit, so you grab Starbucks. $6 for the drink, 4 for the pastry, $10. Sounds harmless, right? It's not like $10 is going to change your life, but what if you just didn't go? What if instead of swiping your card every single day, you actually saved that money? Let's break down what would happen if you invested those $10 a day, $3,650 a year for the long run. And trust me, the difference between options is massive. Average checking account. Let's start with the one everyone already has, the checking account. You throw your $10 a day in here, and after 30 years, you'll have $109,000. After 40, $146,000, which sounds decent, until you realize that's just your own money sitting there. No growth, no interest. That's because checking accounts don't pay you anything. Banks make money off of you, not with you. You give them your cash, they turn around and lend it out for credit cards at 20% interest, and what do you get in return? A thank you and maybe some free overdraft protection. The only reason to use a checking account is convenience. You can swipe your debit card, pay your bills, pull cash from the ATM, all super fast. But as an investment vehicle, completely useless. It's like parking your car in a garage. It just sits there. And the longer it sits, the more value it loses to inflation. Regular savings account. Okay, maybe you're a little more responsible and you think, I'll throw it into a savings account instead. Great, now your bank rewards you with a whopping 0.01% interest, which means instead of $109,000 after 30 years, you'll have about $111,000. And after 40, $149,000. Congratulations, you just spent 4 decades to earn $2,000. Now, to be fair, savings accounts do serve a purpose. They're great for an emergency fund. You want 3 to 6 months of expenses tucked away in something safe and liquid, money you can grab instantly when life punches you in the face. If your car breaks down, if you lose your job, that's when a savings account saves you. But as a long-term plan, it's a trap. Your money grows slower than in inflation, so the longer you leave it, the more your buying power erodes. It's like filling up a water bucket that has a slow leak at the bottom. Technically, you're saving, but in reality, you're falling behind. High yield savings account. Now we're moving up the ladder. High-yield savings accounts are the glow-up version of your bank's sad little savings. Online banks are paying 4 to 5% APY right now, which crushes that 0.01%. At 4.5%, your $10 a day grows to $212,000 after 30 years. That's triple what you'd get in a traditional savings account. This is where the pros start showing. High-yield savings accounts are FDIC insured, safe, and ridiculously easy to open online. They're perfect for short-term goals. Saving for a car in a couple of years, a wedding, a down payment, this is where you keep it. But don't get it twisted, it's still not going to make you rich. High-yield savings accounts rates move with the economy. In 2020, the best you could get was 0.5%. Today, it's around 4.5%. Tomorrow, it could be lower again, so while it's perfect for parking cash safely, it's not a wealth-building tool. It's a safe parking lot, not a rocket ship. Stocks. Now, let's talk about where the real growth comes in, but also real risk. Stocks. On average, the US market returns about 8% a year. With $10 a day, that's $457,000 after 30 years and over $1 million after 40 years. This is where compounding starts to look insane. But here's the problem. Averages lie. Take Apple. In some years, Apple stock is up 30%. The next year, it's down 20%. That's volatility. If you panic during the down years and sell, you lose. But if you hold through the swings for decades, you win. That's the game. The pro here is obvious. Stocks can create massive wealth. Imagine owning companies like Microsoft or Amazon from the early 2000s. You'd be set for life, but the con is just as clear. It's risky. Picking individual stocks is like picking lottery numbers with better odds. Some companies soar, others go bankrupt. And if you can't stomach the roller coaster, stocks will scare you out of your money before you ever get rich. ETFs. Now, here's a safer way to play the stock game. ETFs. Exchange-traded funds are like stocks with training wheels. Instead of betting everything on Apple or Tesla, you buy a basket of companies. The most famous? The S&P 500. That's 500 of the biggest U.S. companies in one fund. Historically, the S&P 500 averages about 8% annually. So your $10 a day, same as stocks, $457,000 after 30 years, $1,070,000 after 40 years. The difference is risk. With ETFs, if one company fails, it barely matters because you own hundreds. The beauty of ETFs is that you don't need to think about it. You're diversified by default. the fees are low, and the track record is proven. The downside is that when the whole market tanks, like in 2008 or early 2020, ETFs tank with it. But here's the difference. If you stay invested, history says you recover. ETFs are boring, and boring makes people rich. Crypto. Crypto is like riding a roller coaster blindfolded. 1 year, Bitcoin's up 200%. The next, it's down 70%. If you started investing $10 a day back in 2015, you'd be sitting on millions right now. If you started in 2021, you'd still be underwater. If we assume a 12% return, $10 a day becomes $1.08 million after 30 years and $3.6 million after 40 years. That's insane. The upside potential is huge, but the risk, just as big. Crypto isn't FDIC insured. Exchanges have gone bankrupt overnight. Regulations could change everything, and the volatility is brutal. If you can't stomach waking up to your account being cut in half, crypto will eat you alive. That's why most people should treat it as spice. Sprinkle a little on your portfolio if you want flavor, but don't dump the whole bottle on it or you'll regret it. Roth IRA 401k. This is where the nerds win. Retirement accounts. Same $10 a day, but inside a Roth IRA, that's $457,000 after 30 years and $1,007,000 after 40 years. And here's the kicker. In a Roth, all that money is tax-free. Every dollar is yours. With a 401k, you might get an employer match. That means you put in $10, your job matches with $10. Suddenly, you're investing $20 a day, which becomes almost $2.2 million in 40 years. That's free money. The upside here is insane. Tax advantages, compounding, and sometimes employer matches. The downside is flexibility. You can't touch this money without penalties until you're older. And contribution limits cap how much you can put in every year. But make no mistake, this is the boring millionaire machine. Bonds, T-bills. Bonds are slow but steady. Right now, short-term U.S. Treasury bills are paying about 5%. With $10 a day, that's $254,000 after 30 years and $466,000 after 40 years. The pro is security. When you buy bonds or T-bills, you're lending money to the U.S. government. And unless you think America's going bankrupt, you're getting paid. That makes bonds great if you're close to retirement and don't want to risk losing money. The downside is obvious. It's safe but slow. Over decades, stocks leave bonds in the dust. Inflation also eats into your real returns. So while bonds are a good stabilizer, they're not a path to wealth on their own. Think of them as the tortoise in the race. Reliable, steady, but never flashy. Real estate crowdfunding. Real estate is one of the oldest wealth builders. But what if you don't have $200,000 for a down payment? Real estate investment trusts let you buy shares of companies that own apartments, warehouses, malls, and more. Here's the cool part. They pay dividends. That means you get regular income while also holding a long-term growth asset. Over time, they've returned numbers similar to stocks. Your $10 a day would grow close to $500,000 in 30 years and over $1 million in 40. The pro is diversification and income. You're part of real estate growth without fixing toilets or dealing with tenants. The con is sensitivity to interest rates and economic cycles. When the housing market slows, so do they. Still, they're a powerful way to add real estate to your portfolio without owning an actual property. Starting your future. Finally, the wild card, investing in yourself. That $109,000 after 30 years or $146,000 after 40 years could have been poured into books, courses, skills, or businesses. Unlike stocks or bonds, this path doesn't follow neat numbers, but the upside is unlimited. The pro is control. You decide how far you scale it. A small YouTube channel can turn into a six-figure income stream. A side hustle can grow into a business. The downside? Risk. Not every hustle works. You could lose money. It takes effort, discipline, and time. But here's the truth. This is the option that changes people's lives the fastest. Because while stocks can make you wealthy over decades, building a business can do it in years. So yeah, every time you drop $10 on Starbucks and a pastry, you're making a choice. It doesn't feel like much, but over decades, it adds up to hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions. Checking, dead money. Savings, barely better. High yield savings accounts, great for short-term goals. Stocks and exchange-traded funds, millionaire makers if you stay patient. Crypto, chaos but crazy upside. Roth IRA and 401k, the boring millionaire machine. Bonds, steady, safe, but slow. Real estate, passive income and inflation protection. Yourself, unlimited upside. The real question is, are you okay with sipping away $1 million over your lifetime, or do you actually want to build it? That's it for today. Let me know in the comments which one you'd pick. Me, checking accounts, they're checking out your future. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Please leave a like, and as always, every dollar matters.